Welcome back to our channel. Have you ever felt like life is testing you at every turn? The pressures of work, family, society, or even the expectations you set for yourself? Some days we feel tired, overwhelmed, and wonder, why can't I stay calm and strong like others? Let me share a story with you. Over 2,000 years ago, there was a man named Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors of Rome. He ruled a vast empire while facing wars, plagues, and constant political scheming. For most of us, just one of those challenges would be enough to break us, but Marcus Aurelius didn't falter. He overcame it all, not through military might or absolute power, but through something much deeper: mental strength. A mind so resilient and unshaken by adversity that it became legendary. What was his secret? It was his philosophy of life, grounded in stoicism, a mindset that helped him find peace and purpose amidst life's storms. Today, we'll explore how you can apply these timeless lessons to your own life. Did you know Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This might sound simple, but it's the key to building unshakable mental strength. So, if you want to know how to handle life's pressures, to remain calm and steadfast, even when everything around you feels chaotic, then you're in the right place. But before we dive in, I have a favor to ask. If you find this topic interesting, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. I promise to bring you more valuable content about life philosophy, mental strength, and finding peace in today's fast-paced world. Now let's begin this journey of discovery together. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the demands of life? Piles of work, expectations from family and society, and the constant, unspoken worry about the future. We compare ourselves to others on social media, believing we're not good enough, smart enough, or successful enough. But let's pause for a moment and ask, are these things truly worth losing your inner peace over? Marcus Aurelius taught us something simple yet profound. We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. What does that mean? It means you don't have to let life's pressures control you. You can choose to face them with calm and clarity. And that's exactly what we'll explore in this video: how to build mental strength based on the teachings of Marcus Aurelius. But remember, mental strength isn't something you achieve overnight. It's a journey. And this journey begins with the small thoughts and actions you take every single day. Imagine your day as a battlefield. The challenges of work, family, and society are like the battles Marcus faced. But instead of letting them overwhelm you, you can train your mind to remain steady, no matter the pressure. So how do we start this journey? In the next section, we'll delve into the core principles Marcus Aurelius lived by, from focusing on what you can control to turning adversity into an opportunity for growth. But before we get into the main content, I want you to remember one thing. There's no greater power than a mind that is in control. And, if you believe this is important, leave a comment below this video. Share with me the challenges you're currently facing. I'd love to hear from you and discuss further. Now, let's embark on this journey to discover the secrets of mental strength, a journey that will not only change how you see life, but also transform who you are. Focus on what you can control. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by things that were completely out of your control? Maybe it's the unpredictable actions of others, the outcomes of your efforts, or even the twists and turns life throws your way. It's easy to get caught up in the chaos, feeling powerless and frustrated. But Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, reminds us of a profound truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This principle lies at the heart of mental strength. The key is not to try and control everything around us, because frankly, we can't. Instead, it's about mastering our reactions to those things. It's about focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. Let's take Marcus Aurelius as an example. As Emperor of Rome, he faced challenges on a scale most of us can't even imagine. Wars raging across his empire, plagues devastating his people, and political intrigue threatening his rule. Yet Marcus didn't crumble under the pressure. Instead, he turned inward and focused on what he could control: his own thoughts, actions, and decisions. When a devastating plague swept through Rome, Marcus couldn't stop it. He couldn't control the disease or the panic that spread with it. What he could do, however, was manage how he responded. He focused on providing aid, maintaining stability, and leading with calm resilience. Instead of letting fear dictate his actions, he channeled his energy into what mattered most, helping his people and staying true to his principles. Now, let's bring this principle into today's world. How often do we waste our mental energy on things we have no control over? Think about it. The opinions of others, the behavior of co-workers, or even the outcomes of situations we've done our best to prepare for. Take a moment to reflect. How much time have you spent worrying about what someone thinks of you, or replaying a situation in your mind, wishing you could change it? These thoughts don't just drain our energy, they distract us from what really matters, improving ourselves and taking meaningful action. So, how do we apply Marcus Aurelius's wisdom in our own lives? It starts with a simple but powerful question. Is this within my control? When faced with a challenge, pause and ask yourself, can I influence this outcome, or is it beyond my reach? If it's something you can change, like your habits, attitude, or effort, focus on taking constructive action. If it's outside your control, like someone else's opinion or an unforeseen obstacle, practice letting it go. This doesn't mean you should ignore problems or become indifferent. It means directing your energy toward what truly matters. Imagine how much lighter your mind would feel if you stopped worrying about things you can't change and instead put that energy into becoming the best version of yourself. Here's a practical exercise to try. Make a list of the things currently stressing you out. Divide that list into 2 columns. Things I can control and things I cannot control. Commit to taking action on what's in your control and consciously release the rest. For example, if you're nervous about an upcoming presentation, you can't control how others will react, but you can prepare thoroughly, practice, and bring your best effort to the table. By focusing on preparation rather than anxiety, you empower yourself to succeed, regardless of the outcome. Marcus Aurelius also teaches us this. It is not the external events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. Often, it's not the situation that causes us stress, but the story we tell ourselves about it. Think about it. If someone cuts you off in traffic, your first instinct might be anger. You might think, they're so disrespectful. But what if you reframed it? What if they're rushing to a family emergency? By changing your interpretation, you change your emotional response. And suddenly, the stress fades away. Remember, mental strength isn't about controlling the world. It's about controlling yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your reactions. The next time you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself of Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. Ask, what can I control in this moment? Then focus your energy there. It's a simple shift, but it's one that can transform the way you approach life's challenges. When we focus on what we can control, we reclaim our power. We stop being victims of circumstance and start becoming masters of our own minds. And that, my friends, is the foundation of true mental strength. Turn adversity into opportunity. Have you ever faced a challenge so daunting that it felt impossible to overcome? Maybe it was a setback at work, a strained relationship, or a personal failure. It's easy to see obstacles as roadblocks that halt our progress. But what if I told you that those very obstacles could be the key to your growth? Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This profound insight teaches us that challenges aren't just something to endure, they're opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Let's look at Marcus Aurelius himself. As the ruler of one of history's greatest empires, his life was filled with adversity. He faced relentless wars, political betrayal, and personal loss. But Marcus didn't let these hardships defeat him. Instead, he turned each obstacle into a chance to grow. For example, during a devastating plague that swept through Rome, Marcus didn't succumb to despair. Instead, he used the crisis to strengthen his leadership, implement measures to protect his people, and reflect on the fragility of life. This perspective allowed him to lead with clarity and purpose, even in the face of overwhelming odds. To Marcus, adversity wasn't something to fear, it was a teacher. Each challenge revealed lessons about patience, perseverance, and the limits of control. And those lessons made him stronger. But what about us? How can we turn our own challenges into opportunities for growth? The first step is to shift how we perceive adversity. When we face a setback, it's natural to feel frustrated or defeated, but instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" Think of adversity like a weight at the gym. It's heavy, uncomfortable, and challenging. But it's also the resistance that builds your strength. Without it, growth isn't possible. By reframing challenges as opportunities, you change how you approach them. For example, let's say you didn't get the promotion you were hoping for. Instead of seeing it as a failure, look deeper. What skills could you improve? How can this experience make you better prepared for the next opportunity? By focusing on growth, you transform a setback into a stepping stone. So, how do we turn Marcus Aurelius's wisdom into action? It starts with a plan. Here's a 3-step process you can follow to turn any obstacle into an opportunity. Identify the challenge. Write down the specific obstacle you're facing. Be honest about what's holding you back, whether it's an external event or an internal fear. Find the lesson. Ask yourself, what can this challenge teach me? For example, a tough work deadline might teach you better time management. A conflict with a friend might teach you about communication and patience. Take action. Once you've identified the lesson, create a plan to grow from it. What steps can you take to improve or adapt? Break it down into manageable actions and commit to them. This process doesn't just help you overcome challenges, it builds resilience, the kind of strength that prepares you for future obstacles. One of the most powerful tools for building resilience is reflection. Take time to look back on past challenges you've faced. How did you overcome them? What did they teach you? For example, think about a time when you failed at something. Maybe it was a project at work or a personal goal you didn't achieve. At the moment, it might have felt devastating. But now, with hindsight, you might realize that failure taught you something valuable. Maybe it revealed a skill you needed to develop or a perspective you needed to change. By reflecting on these experiences, you start to see a pattern. Adversity doesn't break you, it shapes you. And each time you face a challenge, you become stronger and more capable. Remember Marcus's words. What stands in the way becomes the way. Obstacles are not detours, they are the path itself. When you embrace this mindset, you stop fearing challenges and start welcoming them. You realize that every difficulty is a chance to grow, to learn, and to prove to yourself just how resilient you truly are. So the next time you encounter an obstacle, don't see it as the end of the road. Instead, see it as a beginning, an opportunity to rise above, to learn, and to become stronger. Because in the end, resilience isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about embracing them, transforming them, and letting them shape you into the person you're meant to be. Are you ready to turn your challenges into opportunities? Let's take that first step together. Gratitude practice. How often do we pause to appreciate the good in our lives? In the hustle and bustle of daily routines, it's easy to focus on what's missing, what's wrong, or what we wish were different. But what if I told you that gratitude, a simple shift in perspective, could transform not only your mindset but your entire life? Marcus Aurelius, one of the wisest philosophers in history, believed in this power. Even as an emperor burdened with immense responsibility, he took time every day to reflect on what he was grateful for. His writings and meditations reveal a man who, despite facing plagues, wars, and betrayals, found reasons to give thanks. Marcus teaches us that gratitude isn't about ignoring challenges, it's about finding light in the darkness. Imagine Marcus Aurelius at the end of a long day. He has dealt with political conspiracies, military conflicts, and the endless demands of ruling an empire. Yet, as he sits down to write in his journal, he doesn't dwell on the challenges or the pressures. Instead, he reflects on what he can be grateful for: the wisdom gained from a difficult decision, the loyalty of a trusted advisor, or even the opportunity to serve his people. Marcus reminds us, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. Gratitude wasn't just an emotion for him, it was a practice, a daily habit that helped him maintain clarity and resilience. But what about us? In a world filled with constant demands and distractions, how can we incorporate gratitude into our daily lives? First, let's understand why gratitude matters. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude can reduce stress, improve mental health, and even strengthen relationships. When we focus on what we're thankful for, we train our minds to see abundance rather than lack, possibilities rather than limitations. Think about a tough day you've had recently. Amidst the chaos, was there something, no matter how small, that you could appreciate? Maybe it was a kind word from a colleague, a moment of laughter with a loved one, or even just the comfort of a quiet evening. These small moments are the building blocks of gratitude. So, how do we turn gratitude into a daily practice? One of the simplest and most effective methods is journaling. Here's how you can get started. Choose a time. Dedicate a few minutes each day, either in the morning or before bed, to reflect on what you're grateful for. Write it down. Grab a notebook or journal and jot down 3 things you appreciate. They don't have to be big or extraordinary. It could be something as simple as, I'm grateful for the cup of coffee I enjoyed this morning, or I'm thankful for the support of my friend. Be specific. Instead of writing general statements like, I'm grateful for my family, go deeper. Write, I'm grateful for the conversation I had with my brother today. It made me feel connected. Reflect on challenges. Take it a step further and think about something difficult you faced. What lesson did it teach you? What strength did you gain from it? This is where the magic happens, turning adversity into gratitude. As you build this habit, you'll notice a shift in how you approach life. Gratitude rewires your brain to focus on the positive. It helps you see opportunities in setbacks and joy in the little things. Let me share an example. A friend of mine started keeping a gratitude journal during a particularly stressful period at work. At first, it felt awkward. She struggled to find things to be thankful for amidst the chaos. But day by day, she began noticing small moments she would have overlooked. The encouragement of a coworker, the sense of accomplishment after finishing a project, even the simple pleasure of walking her dog. Over time, her mindset changed. She became more optimistic, resilient, and less overwhelmed by challenges. Marcus Aurelius's wisdom reminds us, let not your mind run on what you lack as much as on what you have already. This practice of gratitude isn't about denying hardships, it's about broadening your perspective. It's about acknowledging the good that exists, even when times are tough. Think of gratitude as a lens through which you view the world. When the lens is clear, you see beauty in places you never expected. And when you make gratitude a habit, you carry that clarity with you, no matter the challenges you face. So, let's take a moment right now. What are 3 things you're grateful for today? They don't have to be grand, just meaningful to you. Write them down or share them in the comments below. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools for building mental strength. It grounds us in the present, lifts our spirits, and reminds us of the abundance we already have. Are you ready to embrace this practice? Let's start today together. Focus on what you can control. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by things that were completely out of your control? Maybe it's the unpredictable actions of others, the outcomes of your efforts, or even the twists and turns life throws your way. It's easy to get caught up in the chaos, feeling powerless and frustrated. But Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, reminds us of a profound truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This principle lies at the heart of mental strength. The key is not to try and control everything around us, because frankly, we can't. Instead, it's about mastering our reactions to those things. It's about focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. Let's take Marcus Aurelius as an example. As Emperor of Rome, he faced challenges on a scale most of us can't even imagine. Wars raging across his empire, plagues devastating his people, and political intrigue threatening his rule. Yet Marcus didn't crumble under the pressure. Instead, he turned inward and focused on what he could control: his own thoughts, actions, and decisions. When a devastating plague swept through Rome, Marcus couldn't stop it. He couldn't control the disease or the panic that spread with it. What he could do, however, was manage how he responded. He focused on providing aid, maintaining stability, and leading with calm resilience. Instead of letting fear dictate his actions, he channeled his energy into what mattered most, helping his people and staying true to his principles. Now, let's bring this principle into today's world. How often do we waste our mental energy on things we have no control over? Think about it. The opinions of others, the behavior of co-workers, or even the outcomes of situations we've done our best to prepare for. Take a moment to reflect. How much time have you spent worrying about what someone thinks of you, or replaying a situation in your mind, wishing you could change it? These thoughts don't just drain our energy, they distract us from what really matters, improving ourselves and taking meaningful action. So, how do we apply Marcus Aurelius's wisdom in our own lives? It starts with a simple but powerful question. Is this within my control? When faced with a challenge, pause and ask yourself, can I influence this outcome, or is it beyond my reach? If it's something you can change, like your habits, attitude, or effort, focus on taking constructive action. If it's outside your control, like someone else's opinion or an unforeseen obstacle, practice letting it go. This doesn't mean you should ignore problems or become indifferent. It means directing your energy toward what truly matters. Imagine how much lighter your mind would feel if you stopped worrying about things you can't change and instead put that energy into becoming the best version of yourself. Here's a practical exercise to try. Make a list of the things currently stressing you out. Divide that list into 2 columns. Things I can control and things I cannot control. Commit to taking action on what's in your control and consciously release the rest. For example, if you're nervous about an upcoming presentation, you can't control how others will react, but you can prepare thoroughly, practice, and bring your best effort to the table. By focusing on preparation rather than anxiety, you empower yourself to succeed, regardless of the outcome. Marcus Aurelius also teaches us this. It is not the external events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. Often, it's not the situation that causes us stress, but the story we tell ourselves about it. Think about it. If someone cuts you off in traffic, your first instinct might be anger. You might think, they're so disrespectful. But what if you reframed it? What if they're rushing to a family emergency? By changing your interpretation, you change your emotional response. And suddenly, the stress fades away. Remember, mental strength isn't about controlling the world. It's about controlling yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your reactions. The next time you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself of Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. Ask, what can I control in this moment? Then focus your energy there. It's a simple shift, but it's one that can transform the way you approach life's challenges. When we focus on what we can control, we reclaim our power. We stop being victims of circumstance and start becoming masters of our own minds. And that, my friends, is the foundation of true mental strength. Mindfulness and reflection. Have you ever felt like your days blur together one after another without truly knowing if you're growing, improving, or even staying true to your values? In our fast-paced world, it's easy to move from task to task without pausing to reflect. But Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, knew the power of stillness and self-reflection. He believed that by looking inward, we gain clarity about who we are, where we're going, and how we can improve. Marcus once wrote, "If you seek tranquility, do less, or do what's essential. Reflect on what happens throughout the day." For him, reflection wasn't just a luxury, it was a necessity, a daily practice that guided his actions and decisions. Picture Marcus Aurelius at the end of a long day. He has dealt with the weight of ruling an empire, the complexities of war, and the struggles of human relationships. Yet, each evening, he took time to sit quietly and reflect. In his "You saved, now sweet I would take to bed," Marcus would ask himself, what did I do well today? Where did I fall short? How can I do better tomorrow? This habit of self-reflection helped him identify his strengths, confront his weaknesses, and align his actions with his values. It wasn't about criticizing himself, but about learning and growing, and this is a practice we can all adopt. So, why is reflection so important for us today? When we take the time to reflect, we create space to understand our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. We gain insight into what's working, what isn't, and how we can make meaningful changes. It's a moment to reconnect with ourselves amidst the noise of daily life. Think about it. How often do you replay mistakes in your head, wishing you had acted differently? Reflection gives you the chance to process those moments, not with regret, but with intention, to learn, adapt, and move forward with purpose. So, how can you incorporate mindfulness and reflection into your daily routine? It doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Here's a simple practice inspired by Marcus Aurelius. Set aside 5 minutes. At the end of each day, find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Ask yourself 3 questions. What went well today? Celebrate your victories, no matter how small. Where did I fall short? Be honest about your mistakes, but don't judge yourself harshly. How can I improve tomorrow? Focus on actionable steps to grow and do better. Write it down. Use a journal to capture your thoughts. Writing helps clarify your mind and reinforces your reflections. Express gratitude. End your journaling session by noting one thing you're grateful for. This shifts your mindset toward positivity and abundance. Let me share a personal example. A friend of mine started this reflection practice during a particularly stressful period at work. At first, she struggled to confront her mistakes. It felt uncomfortable to admit where she had fallen short. But over time, the practice became liberating. She began to notice patterns in her behavior, like how rushing decisions led to unnecessary stress, or how avoiding difficult conversations made problems worse. By reflecting each evening, she found clarity and confidence in addressing these challenges. Today, she calls this simple habit her evening reset, a moment to learn, grow, and prepare for a better tomorrow. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. Reflection isn't about overthinking or dwelling on the past, it's about taking responsibility for your actions and making conscious choices to improve. When you take time to reflect, you strengthen your ability to act with intention. You gain a clearer sense of purpose, and you become more aligned with the person you want to be. Let's try this together. Tonight, before you go to bed, spend 5 minutes reflecting on your day. Write down one thing you're proud of, one thing you wish you had done differently, and one step you can take to improve tomorrow. Over time, this simple practice will transform the way you approach life. You'll notice patterns, break bad habits, and build the self-awareness needed to grow into your best self. Are you ready to start your reflection practice? Remember, growth begins with awareness, and awareness begins with reflection. Let's make today the first step in your journey toward a more intentional life. Accepting failures. How do you feel when you fail? Is it frustration, regret, or even shame? Failure is something we all experience, yet it's one of the hardest things to embrace. But Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, saw failure not as an end, but as a beginning. He famously said, "Failure is an opportunity to begin again, more intelligently." For Marcus, failure wasn't a reflection of his worth. It was a chance to learn, grow, and improve. And this mindset allowed him to lead with wisdom and resilience, even when things didn't go as planned. Imagine Marcus Aurelius, ruling a vast empire filled with political intrigue, wars, and countless challenges. No matter how prepared or capable he was, there were moments when things went wrong. Battles were lost, alliances were broken, and decisions backfired. One notable example was his handling of military campaigns. Despite his careful planning, some battles ended in defeat. But instead of dwelling on what went wrong, Marcus focused on what he could learn. He would reflect on his strategy, identify where mistakes were made, and adjust his approach for the future. This ability to move past failure and focus on solutions was one of Marcus's greatest strengths. It allowed him to turn setbacks into stepping stones for success. But what about us? How do we deal with failure in our own lives? For many of us, failure feels like a personal attack on our self-worth. We replay our mistakes asking, why did this happen? Or what's wrong with me? But the truth is, failure is a natural part of growth. It's not a sign that you're unworthy. It's proof that you're trying, learning, and pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. So, how can we start embracing failure the way Marcus Aurelius did? It begins with a shift in mindset. Instead of seeing failure as a dead end, view it as a teacher. Here's a simple 3-step process to help you navigate failure with resilience. Acknowledge the failure and be honest with yourself about what happened. Avoid blaming others or making excuses. Say, yes, this didn't go as planned, and that's okay. 2. Reflect on the lessons. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Did I miss something in my preparation? Could I have approached the situation differently? 3. Focus on solutions. Instead of dwelling on regret, channel your energy into actionable steps. What can you do to improve? How can you approach the situation more effectively next time? Let's put this into practice. Think about a recent failure you experienced. Maybe it was a missed opportunity at work, a strained relationship, or a personal goal you didn't achieve. Take a moment to reflect. What went wrong? What lessons can you take away? And most importantly, what's your next step? Write these thoughts down in a journal. This simple act of reflection can help you process the experience and turn it into a catalyst for growth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This means that failure isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. Every setback holds a hidden opportunity, every mistake a valuable lesson. When we learn to see failure this way, we become unstoppable. So the next time you face failure, pause and remind yourself, this is not the end. It's an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to come back stronger. Ask yourself, what can I take from this experience? What can I do differently next time? And then take that first step forward. Failure isn't a measure of your worth. It's a sign that you're striving for something meaningful. And the more you embrace it, the more you'll realize that every failure brings you closer to success, living with purpose and values. Purposeful living. What are you living for? Have you ever truly stopped to ask yourself this question? Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, challenged himself with this thought constantly. For him, life wasn't just about survival or fleeting pleasures. It was about finding meaning and aligning every action with that purpose. Marcus believed that without a clear purpose, life could easily feel aimless. It's like setting sail on an open sea without a destination. You may move, but you're not really going anywhere. He wrote, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have work to do. I am part of a greater purpose. Living with purpose doesn't mean you have to change the world overnight. It's about finding what matters most to you and aligning your daily actions with those values and goals. Let's break this down. Purposeful living begins with clarity. Ask yourself these questions. What are my core values? What truly brings me fulfillment? How do I want to be remembered? These questions guide you to uncover what matters most in your life. For some, it's nurturing relationships. For others, it's pursuing knowledge, creating art, or making a difference in their community. Once you've identified your purpose, the next step is to translate it into actionable goals. Marcus Aurelius didn't just ponder abstract ideas, he believed in taking action. He wrote, "Stop debating what a good man should be one." This means breaking down your larger purpose into small, manageable steps that you can work on every day. Let's say your purpose is to cultivate stronger relationships. What does that look like in daily life? Instead of vague intentions, set specific actions. Spend 10 minutes each day reaching out to loved ones. Practice active listening during conversations. Show appreciation through small acts of kindness. By focusing on these daily habits, you're not just thinking about your purpose, you're living it. Purpose isn't something you discover once and forget. It's something you nurture through consistent action. Another example, suppose your purpose is personal growth. Break it into achievable steps. Dedicate 20 minutes daily to reading or learning a new skill. Reflect at the end of each day on what you've learned. Set monthly goals to track your progress. Purposeful living is about creating momentum. Each small step builds upon the last, leading to a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that our purpose isn't always tied to grand achievements. Sometimes it's found in the simple act of being present and doing our best. As he wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good life should be, just live one." In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to lose sight of what matters. We get caught up in chasing success, comparing ourselves to others, or fulfilling societal expectations. But purposeful living calls us back to our core, to focus on what truly aligns with our values and to live with intention. Self-respect and integrity. Why is living true to your values so important? Because your values are the foundation of who you are. They guide your decisions, shape your character, and define your relationships. Without them, it's easy to drift, to lose yourself in the expectations of others or the distractions of modern life. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He believed that integrity, staying true to one's principles, was essential for a life of meaning. He wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." These words are a powerful reminder that self-respect begins with living authentically. For Marcus, integrity wasn't just about honesty with others. It started with honesty with himself. He constantly reflected on his actions, asking, "Am I living according to my principles? Am I treating others with the respect and compassion they deserve?" Living with integrity means aligning your actions with your values, even when it's challenging. It means saying no to shortcuts, resisting temptations to compromise your character, and choosing the harder but truer path. One of the greatest lessons Marcus teaches us is that integrity builds trust, both with yourself and those around you. When you act with integrity, you gain confidence in your decisions because they reflect your true self. At the same time, you earn the respect of others. People value authenticity and fairness. They are drawn to those who stand by their principles, especially in a world where such qualities can feel rare. So, how can we cultivate integrity in our own lives? Here are 3 steps inspired by Marcus Aurelius. Clarify your values. Take time to identify what matters most to you. Write down your core principles, such as honesty, kindness, or perseverance. Act consistently. Make decisions that align with your values, even in small matters. For example, if you value kindness, look for opportunities to help others or offer encouragement. Reflect regularly. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did my actions reflect my values? Where can I improve? Use these reflections to guide your growth. Marcus Aurelius also emphasized the importance of treating others with compassion. He wrote, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" This perspective reminds us that we are all flawed and that understanding and empathy go hand in hand with integrity. By showing kindness to others, even when they fall short, we create stronger, more authentic relationships. Living with self-respect and integrity isn't always easy. It requires courage, patience, and a willingness to learn from our mistakes. But the rewards are profound. When you live authentically, you find a sense of inner peace. You stop worrying about pleasing others and focus on being true to yourself. And when you treat others with kindness and fairness, you build trust and connections that enrich your life. Integrity isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become. As we reflect on Marcus Aurelius's wisdom, let's ask ourselves, are we living in alignment with our values? Are we treating ourselves and others with the respect we deserve? Living with purpose and integrity is a journey, not a destination. It's about making small, intentional choices every day that bring you closer to the person you want to be. So let's take the first step today, find your purpose, act with integrity, and treat every moment as an opportunity to live meaningfully. Because as Marcus reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. In this video, we explored Marcus Aurelius's timeless wisdom. Focus on what you can control. Turn challenges into opportunities. Build daily habits of gratitude, discipline, reflection, and resilience. Live with purpose and integrity. These practices aren't just for philosophers or emperors, They're for all of us navigating the pressures of modern life. You don't need to be an emperor to build mental strength like Marcus Aurelius. Start with small habits today. Write in your journal, reflect on your actions, and take one step toward your purpose. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more insights on Stoic philosophy and living a meaningful life. Mental strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you create, one choice at a time. So, let's begin today, together.